Why some narcissists refuse to leave you alone. What is going on, beautiful folks? Have you ever wondered why some narcissists just can't seem to leave you alone? What are they really trying to prove by constantly popping up in your life, even after things have ended? In this video, we're diving deep into the twisted world of narcissistic behavior and explaining the psychology behind why they refuse to back off. Trust me, by the end, you'll have a better understanding of why this happens and, more importantly, how you can protect yourself. Before we jump in, I want to remind you to subscribe, like and share this video. Let's build this community of people who are empowering each other to heal from toxic relationships and grow stronger. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on new content. Let's get started. You might be wondering, why does it feel like no matter how much I try to move on from a narcissist, they always seem to reappear in my life? This is a question that many people struggle with after being in a relationship with a narcissist, and it's understandable why it can be so confusing. Narcissists have a hard time letting go because, for them, relationships aren't about love, respect, or emotional connection. Instead, they view them as a means to exert control, manipulate, and receive validation. When they sense that they are losing their grip on you, they will stop at nothing to regain control and ensure they still have that power over you. To understand this better, we need to look at the psychology behind the narcissist's behavior. At their core, narcissists often suffer from deep-rooted insecurities and a fragile sense of self-worth. Because of these insecurities, they view relationships not as a way to connect with another person, but as a tool to boost their self-esteem and self-image. When you pull away from them or decide to end the relationship, it poses a direct threat to their already shaky self-esteem. This threat is what drives them to persistently push against your boundaries, not out of a genuine desire for you, but out of an overwhelming need to maintain the validation you once provided. Their refusal to respect your wishes and leave you alone is not motivated by love or genuine affection. Instead, it is fueled by their constant need for validation. They view you as an extension of themselves rather than as a separate, autonomous individual with your own rights, needs, and desires. In their eyes, you are there to serve as a mirror to reflect their own importance and value. When you distance yourself, it disrupts this reflection, and they can't stand the idea of losing that. This constant need for validation is why narcissists will go to great lengths to get your attention. Even when you've made it clear that you want nothing to do with them, they will find ways to contact you, whether it's through relentless texting, showing up uninvited at your home, or using other creative means to reach out. This is not about concern for your well-being or any real desire to reconnect. It's about maintaining their sense of control and feeding their fragile ego. If they can make you respond, even in anger or frustration, they are still getting the attention they crave. In some cases, narcissists may even try to manipulate you using guilt. They will attempt to make you feel like you owe them something, twisting the situation to make it seem like they are the victim, and you are responsible for their emotional state. This is a form of manipulation designed to make you feel responsible for their happiness, as if your rejection or distance is an unjustifiable attack on their self-worth. They may even act as though they cannot live without you, or that you're the only person who can make them feel complete, all in an effort to draw you back into their orbit. At the heart of all this behavior is the narcissist's desperate need to maintain control and validation. Their inability to truly let go is a reflection of their own emotional needs and their struggle with their self-esteem. By trying to re-enter your life or disrupt your healing process, they are attempting to regain the sense of power and importance that they feel they lose when you cut ties. The reality is that their behavior is not about you at all. It's about their own insecurities and the toxic ways they seek to address them. They will continue these tactics as long as they perceive any opportunity to regain your attention and control over you. But why do they keep showing up physically, you might ask? In the narcissist's mind, simply being there in person is enough to prove that they care about you. They believe that their physical presence alone serves as irrefutable evidence of their commitment. They may say things like, "I'm here, aren't I? That's all the proof you need that I love you." What they fail to realize, or perhaps choose to ignore, is that their presence doesn't equate to genuine care or affection. The irony is that, for them, showing up is their version of love, yet for you, it likely feels like nothing more than a reminder of how they neglected your emotional needs and failed to demonstrate real care during the relationship. What makes this situation even more confusing is the way they can manipulate you into believing, even if just for a moment, that maybe they have changed or that they truly do love you. You might find yourself questioning whether all the emotional neglect, manipulation, and abuse were worth it because, for the briefest of moments, they are now giving you attention, no matter how toxic or empty that attention might be. The reality is, narcissists are experts at playing on your vulnerabilities and emotions. They often return time and again, knowing that for some people, this cycle of promises, grand gestures, and fleeting moments of affection can be enough to weigh you down. It can make you second-guess your decision to break away, tempting you to reconsider their behavior because they've managed to evoke a brief emotional response in you. This is exactly why narcissists tend to resurface repeatedly in your life. They understand that for some individuals, the hope that they have changed or the belief that things could be different, even if only for a moment, can make you falter. They know that their repeated cycle of showing up, making empty promises, and offering occasional bursts of attention could slowly start to erode your resolve. The narcissist thrives on this cycle because they know it often leads you back into their grasp, even if only temporarily. It's a tactic that wears you down emotionally, leaving you vulnerable to their manipulations. However, it's crucial that you don't let yourself be fooled by this cycle. It's not love, no matter how convincing they may seem or how desperate they may appear to be. What you're witnessing is a calculated attempt at manipulation, a game they play to maintain control over you. Narcissists are not capable of forming genuine emotional connections because their sense of self-worth is so fragile and dependent on external validation. They need to keep you hooked and make sure they're always in your thoughts. For them, the ultimate goal is to regain control, and they will use anything at their disposal, whether it's their physical presence, flattering words, emotional appeals, or even threats, to get you back into their orbit. When they show up, they want to remind you that, in their minds, you still belong to them. They want to prove that they can still command your attention, still exert influence over your feelings, and still have a place in your life. Their return is not a sign of change or growth on their part. It's simply another attempt to reinforce their sense of dominance and control. They will stop at nothing to show you that you are still theirs, even if they have to resort to manipulative tactics to make that happen. You might find yourself wondering, how do they get away with behaving this way? It's a frustrating question, but the truth is that narcissists have an unsettling ability to be incredibly persuasive. They know how to make you feel guilty for asserting your boundaries. They can make you question your own feelings and instincts, and they can even make you doubt your perception of reality. Narcissists are experts at twisting the truth, turning the tables, and making it seem like you're the one who's at fault for wanting space, for wanting to break free from their toxic grip. They will make you believe that your desire for independence is selfish or wrong. Through this manipulation, they slowly erode your sense of self, and in the process, They wear down your boundaries, making it harder and harder for you to protect yourself from their emotional and psychological tactics. One of the most dangerous aspects of dealing with a narcissist is their ability to manipulate emotions. They understand how to press your emotional buttons, and they will use this knowledge to their advantage. They will bombard you with constant messages, calls, or even show up at your workplace, at your favorite coffee shop, or anywhere they know you frequent. They might even go as far as showing up at your home or contacting your friends and family to try to reach you. This behavior is not out of concern or love. It's a form of control that feeds their fragile ego. Narcissists thrive on the chaos they create because it gives them a sense of power, and as long as you're responding in any way, they see it as a win. They view your emotional reactions, your distress, and your uncertainty as validation for their existence and for their ability to control you. But how can you protect yourself from this? The first and most important step is to realize that their behavior is not about you. It's not about your worth or your desires. It's about their overwhelming need for constant validation. Narcissists cannot function without it. They need others to affirm their inflated self-image and to constantly feed their ego. Once you understand this fundamental truth, you can begin to take back control over your life and emotions. Recognize that their actions are a reflection of their own insecurities, not a commentary on your value or your feelings. Their need for control and validation is an insatiable void they can never fill, no matter how much they manipulate those around them. Setting firm, unshakable boundaries is essential when dealing with a narcissist. You need to make it crystal clear that you will not tolerate their manipulation or their intrusive behavior. Their actions should not be allowed to disturb your peace or compromise your well-being. This might mean that you have to make difficult decisions, like cutting ties completely and blocking them from all forms of communication, social media, phone calls, emails, everything. It may feel harsh, but in reality, it's the best form of self-care and protection. Narcissists do not respect boundaries, so you must protect yourself by being firm in enforcing them. It's also important to remember that narcissists will try to convince you that their actions, however invasive or hurtful, are a form of love. They may claim that their persistence is proof that they care about you, or that they're only trying to help. Don't be fooled. Real love is not built on manipulation, control, or ego stroking. True love is about respect, understanding, and emotional connection. It's about supporting each other's growth and honoring one another's boundaries. A narcissist's version of love is all about power plays and constant validation, and it comes at the expense of your emotional health. Their behavior will never be a reflection of genuine care or affection. It is only a reflection of their insatiable need to feel important and to dominate the relationships around them. Ultimately, your focus needs to be on your own mental and emotional health. You are not obligated to tolerate manipulation or abuse, and you do not owe anyone your time or attention, especially someone who uses emotional blackmail to get what they want. Take control of your life by setting boundaries, prioritizing your well-being, and seeking support from trusted friends, family, or a professional if needed. Understand that you deserve respect, not manipulation, and take steps every day to reinforce your sense of self-worth. As we wrap up, I want to thank you all for watching and engaging with this content. I know this is a tough topic, but by understanding the mind of a narcissist, you're already taking the first steps toward healing. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who might need to hear this. Together, we can break the cycle of narcissistic abuse and build a healthier, stronger community. Stay strong, stay protected, and remember, you deserve love that is real, not a manipulation of your emotions. The narcissist mad you didn't beg them like others cause you were the real deal. Did they really think you'd break down? That you'd crumble and beg for their attention, desperately trying to win them over? Well, here's the plot twist. They couldn't have been more wrong. While they anticipated you would chase them, you did the opposite. You stood strong, confident in your worth, and showed them something they never expected: your inner strength, your unshakable pride, and the fierce belief you have in yourself. Let's dive into why this unexpected shift in dynamics leaves narcissists stunned, and how you can keep standing tall in your power. Stay with me. The narcissist has seen it all before, hasn't they? The others who begged and pleaded, the ones who clung to their every word like a lifeline, desperately doing anything they could to hold on, to maintain their place in their life. Those people were so eager to be in the narcissist's good graces, too afraid to walk away for fear of being left with nothing. But you were different. You weren't built to beg. Begging for scraps of attention or validation was never in your nature. You were built to rise, to thrive, to stand tall and shine. When you walked away, it wasn't out of desperation, it wasn't out of weakness, it was out of self-respect. You knew your worth, and you understood that staying in a toxic situation would only diminish that. And that's exactly what set you apart from all those others who came before you. They were bound by their need to please, but you were the real deal, the one that couldn't be bought, the one that couldn't be manipulated into staying for the narcissist's convenience. And now, as they face the crushing reality of losing someone like you, they can't help but wonder, how could they have let you slip through their fingers? How could they have overlooked the treasure that stood right before them, offering love, loyalty, and authenticity? The others they've encountered since you left, they don't compare. They can't bring what you brought to the table. They don't have the depth, the substance, the unwavering loyalty, or the strength that you carried with you. The narcissist thought they could easily replace you, that they could find someone else who would worship them, put them on a pedestal, and continue to feed their ego without ever questioning their worth. But the truth is finally sinking in. They didn't just lose a partner. They lost someone who brought real meaning into their life, someone who wasn't there just to meet their needs or validate their existence, but someone who offered true connection and authenticity. Now they're left with nothing but hollow interactions, shallow relationships that don't even come close to what they had with you. The worst part, though, is that they're finally realizing that you weren't just another face in the crowd. You weren't someone easily replaceable, someone they could toss aside without consequence. You were the calm in their storm, the anchor they didn't even realize they needed until it was too late. You grounded them when they were lost, you offered support when they were struggling, and you loved them in a way that no one else ever could. But now they're adrift. They're drifting through their days, searching for something, anything, that could fill the void you left behind. But no matter how hard they try, they're finding nothing. The people they meet, the relationships they attempt to form, they don't come close to the energy you brought into their life. It's like trying to replace something irreplaceable, and they're beginning to understand that now. They took you for granted, always assuming that you would stick around, that you'd always be there waiting for them to come to their senses. But you didn't wait. You didn't stick around to be mistreated or overlooked. You walked away, and now they have to deal with the consequences of their own actions. They can't fill the emptiness they feel, because that emptiness is the result of their own choices. It's the result of their own selfishness and inability to recognize your worth while they had the chance. They didn't appreciate the depth of the connection you offered. They didn't realize how much you were giving until you stopped giving it. They were so caught up in their own world, so focused on maintaining control and manipulating their environment, that they didn't see you for the treasure you truly were. And now that treasure is gone. They're stuck in their own mess, unable to get out, constantly haunted by the memory of your grace, your poise, and your unwavering sense of self. Every time they try to move on, every time they try to replace you, they are reminded of what they lost. The people they encounter don't compare to you, not because they aren't good enough, but because no one will ever be able to offer what you did: unconditional love, respect, and loyalty. The narcissist thought they could find someone better, someone who would serve their needs without question, but now they know the harsh reality: they can't. No one else can fill the role you played in their life. And they'll spend the rest of their days searching for something that no one else can give them: your authenticity, your unwavering strength, your incredible heart. And deep down, they know it's too late. The moment they let you go, they sealed their own fate. Oh, how they wish they could go back. They wish they could rewind time, press pause, and fix all the mistakes they made, the things they broke along the way. They wish they could erase the hurt they caused, take back the words they said, and undo the actions that pushed you away. But, as we all know, time doesn't work that way. Time moves forward relentlessly, no matter how badly they wish it didn't. And so do you. You moved forward, not because you wanted to, but because you had no choice. You didn't beg for their affection, not because you didn't care, but because you understood something they couldn't grasp. You understood that the right people don't need to be begged to stay. The right people see your value, they recognize your worth from the start, and they fight to keep you in their lives. They don't take you for granted. They don't let you go without a fight. They cherish what they have. But them? They were never the right people. They didn't see you for what you were. They didn't value you. And that's why, in the end, they lost you. What's even more ironic is how they thought they were the ones in control. They thought their silence, their coldness, would make you question yourself. They thought it would make you doubt your worth, make you feel insecure, and ultimately make you crawl back to them. But instead, it was their silence that exposed their weakness, not yours. It's funny, isn't it? The very thing they thought would break you, the thing they hoped would manipulate you into begging, only made you stronger. Their attempts to control and manipulate you backfired. They tried to diminish your confidence, but all they did was reinforce your sense of self-worth. With each cold shoulder, with each moment of silence, you realized that you were better off without them. And now they're left to deal with the consequences of their own actions. The truth is, you didn't need them, and you still don't. You discovered the power of walking away from people who don't value you, from situations that drain you. In doing so, you unlocked a new kind of freedom, a freedom that comes from knowing your worth and not settling for less than you deserve. You've learned that your value isn't dependent on someone else's ability to see it. Your worth is inherent. It's not something to be negotiated. It's something that simply exists, no matter who recognizes it or not. You've embraced the idea that you don't need to chase after anyone who doesn't appreciate you, and you certainly don't need to beg for someone's love or attention. You know now that those who see your worth will fight to keep you in their lives. Those who don't simply aren't worth your time or energy. And that's why, no matter what they do, no matter how much time passes, you'll always be unforgettable. You're one of a kind. You were the real deal, the kind of person they'll never find again. Now they're left in their own regret, drowning in the consequences of their decisions, forced to confront the fact that they let the real deal slip right through their fingers. They'll try to replace you. They'll try to find someone else who makes them feel the way you made them feel. They'll look for someone who can offer the same level of connection, the same depth, the same love you gave them. But it won't work. No one will ever compare. They'll quickly realize that the people they encounter won't be able to give them what you did. They'll try to substitute you with someone who looks like you, someone who talks like you, but deep down, they'll know that it's not the same. They'll never find someone who fits the way you did. The truth is, they didn't just lose a person, they lost a part of themselves. You were the missing piece they never even realized they needed, the piece that made their life whole. And now that you're gone, they're left with an emptiness they can't fill, a hole that no one else will ever be able to fill. You didn't beg because you knew something they didn't. You understood that a person of true worth doesn't chase after someone who doesn't recognize it. You knew that your value was not something to be earned through desperation or begging. You knew that someone who truly sees you for who you are, someone who truly values you, will make every effort to keep you in their life. And those who don't, those who can't see your worth, simply aren't worth your time. They'll come to understand this, but it will be too late. As they reflect on their actions, as they look back on what they had with you, they'll be stuck in the past, replaying every moment, every opportunity they had to change, to make things right. They'll wish they could go back, make a different choice, make better decisions. But they can't. The past is gone, it's been written, and you've already moved on. You've already chosen your future. And in doing so, you've left them in the past, where they belong. The true beauty of your journey lies in how it no longer revolves around them. You've come so far, and the person you are today is no longer shaped by their actions, their words, or their love. You've freed yourself from the chains they once had on you, and in doing so, you've built a life that is richer, more vibrant, and infinitely more fulfilling than anything they could have ever provided. You've created something for yourself, something that brings you joy, peace, and purpose. And that's a reality they'll have to come to terms with for the rest of their lives. They'll never have what you've built, and no matter how hard they try, they'll never be able to replicate the life you've crafted for yourself. Now they're left to stew in their regret, drowning in their endless cycle of what-ifs and missed opportunities. They'll replay every mistake they made, wishing they could go back and do it all differently. But the truth is, it's no longer your burden to bear. They've had their chance, and they blew it. You've shed that weight, let go of the past, and you've stepped forward into a future that's waiting for you. A future that's not held back by the mistakes of the past, but rather propelled by your strength and resilience. While they remain stuck, dwelling on what they lost, you're out there, living your best life. You're moving forward, surrounded by people who see you for who you truly are, who appreciate you, value you, and love you the way you deserve to be loved. You didn't beg for their love, you didn't chase after their affection, and you certainly didn't crumble under the weight of their indifference. And that's exactly what makes you unforgettable. It's what makes you stand out from everyone else. It's what makes you the real deal. You had the courage to walk away, to stand firm in your own worth, and not let anyone, no matter how convincing, make you believe that you were anything less than extraordinary. And now, as they sit in the aftermath, facing the consequences of their actions, they'll never forget the person who had the strength to walk away without begging, without pleading, without compromising. Because deep down, they know they'll never find someone like you again. They may try. They may look for someone who fills the gap you left behind, someone who can make them feel the way you made them feel. They'll search for someone who can match the energy, the depth, and the authenticity that you brought into their life. But no matter how many people they meet, no matter how many times they try, it will never be the same. They'll never find someone who truly understands their worth, who brings them the same level of peace, love, and connection that you offered them. They'll search for something that doesn't exist, because the truth is, they didn't just lose a person, they lost a part of themselves. You were the missing piece in their life, the one they never truly appreciated until it was too late. And now that piece is gone, and they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to fill a void that can never be filled. So here's to you, the person who didn't beg, the one who walked away with grace and dignity, the person who knew their worth and wasn't afraid to stand up for it. You're the one who got away. You're the one they'll never forget, and they'll spend forever regretting that they couldn't see your value until it was too late. You are the person who taught them the painful lesson that the right person doesn't need to be begged to stay, and that lesson will haunt them for the rest of their lives. But you're moving forward, embracing the life you deserve, and living it to the fullest. And that's the best revenge of all. Thank you for watching, and for joining me in this journey of self-realization. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you continue on your path of growth, empowerment, and self-love. Together, let's keep building a community that understands the power of self-worth and the strength of walking away from what doesn't serve us. Thank you for being here, and remember, you were always the real deal. Why some narcissists refuse to leave you alone. What is going on, beautiful folks? Have you ever wondered why some narcissists just can't seem to leave you alone? What are they really trying to prove by constantly popping up in your life, even after things have ended? In this video, we're diving deep into the twisted world of narcissistic behavior and explaining the psychology behind why they refuse to back off. Trust me, by the end, you'll have a better understanding of why this happens and, more importantly, how you can protect yourself. Before we jump in, I want to remind you to subscribe, like, and share this video. Let's build this community of people who are empowering each other to heal from toxic relationships and grow stronger. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on new content. Let's get started. You might be wondering, why does it feel like no matter how much I try to move on for a narcissist, they always seem to reappear in my life? This is a question that many people struggle with after being in a relationship with a narcissist, and it's understandable why it can be so confusing. Narcissists have a hard time letting go because, for them, relationships aren't about love, respect, or emotional connection. Instead, they view them as a means to exert control, manipulate, and receive validation. When they sense that they are losing their grip on you, they will stop at nothing to regain control and ensure they still have that power over you. To understand this better, we need to look at the psychology behind the narcissist's behavior. At their core, narcissists often suffer from deep-rooted insecurities and a fragile sense of self-worth. Because of these insecurities, they view relationships not as a way to connect with another person, but as a tool to boost their self-esteem and self-image. When you pull away from them or decide to end the relationship, it poses a direct threat to their already shaky self-esteem. This threat is what drives them to persistently push against your boundaries, not out of a genuine desire for you, but out of an overwhelming need to maintain the validation you once provided. Their refusal to respect your wishes and leave you alone is not motivated by love or genuine affection. Instead, it is fueled by their constant need for validation. They view you as an extension of themselves rather than as a separate, autonomous individual with your own rights, needs, and desires. In their eyes, you are there to serve as a mirror to reflect their own importance and value. When you distance yourself, it disrupts this reflection, and they can't stand the idea of losing that. This constant need for validation is why narcissists will go to great lengths to get your attention. Even when you've made it clear that you want nothing to do with them, they will find ways to contact you, whether it's